just got flandered.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy.
And you just got flandered.
That's way! Yeah!
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy. Big night tonight. We're on our summer vacation tour, and we're in Washington, D.C. We got a full big house tonight to talk about the Commander season, fantasy impacts, and, of course, play some trivia, which is always fun. Before we get things started, just like to bring a few things to your attention, of course. Go to tssfantasy.com today. Get signed up. Of course, you can go to the round table. Whoops, that's the wrong graphic. But you can go to the round table for exclusive content, including rankings and shows as well. Also, we're doing the show on your fantasy league as well. So you want to check that out. Also, if you have a fantasy league, we do a quick little show on it. Go to tssfantasy.com. You'll check that out. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. You will automatically be entered to win a signed Justin Jefferson jersey that is by our friends at Pristine Auction. Make sure you check that out. Just get subscribed. You're hitting a button, bro. That's it. It's pretty easy. Get on that train today. Also, don't forget, go to Underdog Fantasy. Hit the code word TSS when you get signed up. Double your deposit up to $100. Guys, why do we do that? Because we are the fantasy show of the people. All right, like I said, we have a big show tonight, and we got a lot of guests, so I don't want to keep them all waiting, and I'm just going to sit here running my mouth. However, we do got to start off with one of our own Dr. Miller's house calls.
Look, I'm a doctor, not an escalator. Spot, give me a hand.
The doctor is in. We are in Washington, D.C. Not getting political, though. I assure you of that. Welcome in, Dr. Miller.
Really good to be here in D.C. with you tonight.
We are ready for the house call today. And, of course, the percent to the bench. So we got a couple of guys in Washington this year. One guy that, last year, big hype on going into the season. Didn't finish so bad, but did have a little bit of a snag with injuries. Let's talk about Antonio Gibson. What is your percent to the bench for Mr. Gibson?
Yeah, so 2020, missed a couple of games with turf toe. Spent much, if not all of last season, playing through a stress fracture in his shin. And we talked about that a lot. I don't need to re-examine the stress fracture, but I just want to highlight that this is a very painful thing to deal with. It's painful to the touch, and it hurts more with activity. The only way to manage this is rest, and he didn't get that last year. So I want to highlight that really does speak to how gritty Gibson is as a back. His grittiness, which he proved last season, plus his youth, he's turning 24 this month, makes me really optimistic. He says in his words that he feels great, but I think that might be standard issue in Washington contracts because Curtis Samuel says the same thing. I'm going to go with 10% to the bench.
Ooh, 10%. Listen, I'll say this too. I'll be perfectly honest. I totally forgot about that until you brought it up. Wow, we did talk about that a lot, and was like, listen, that's scary for him to play on. One hit. I mean, it's bye-bye. I mean, it was crazy. So we did talk about that a lot, and you're right. A lot of grit for that young man, and to play throughout the season with that. And now he got the rest that he needed. So going in healthy, I like this Commander offense again. I feel like the positive spin maker. Just call me Mr. Rogers Neighborhood if you like. That's fine with me. Let's go on to another guy now. If there's anybody in the NFL I felt bad for last year, it was this guy right here because of where this injury is. Curtis Samuel. Man, my friend, it must have been a lonely year last year. A constant groin issue. My brother, what is your percent to the bench for Curtis Samuel?
we've been talking about his groin for 12 months now. Last June was the first time you asked me to talk about the Samuel groin. So I feel bad for this guy as well. So he only played five games last season, right? He emerged in week 12, thought he was going to be doing a little bit better, and then he played 3 games before the hamstring. So in total, he had 38 all-purpose yards last season. And in his words, quote, "It was frustrating, it was really tough. It was probably one of my toughest years mentally." But like I highlighted a moment ago, standard issue for Washington players is to say, quote, "I feel like myself again." While that sounds nice, and while Coach Rivera says he looks really good in workouts so far, I've got some reservations, and this may be a little bit of recency bias just looking at last season, but I'm going 90% to the bench for Samuel.
Oh, I don't know. Mrs. Samuel would agree, but yeah, 90% to the bench for Curtis Samuel. Listen, there was a lot of, again, we go back to a lot of hype for Curtis Samuel last year in this offense. But now you have a Carson Wentz, a decent offensive line. You already have scary Terry McLaurin. You have Jahan Dotson, the new Penn State rookie on the other side. Curtis Samuel in the slot, stay healthy, could be again. If you've always wanted to have a neighbor just like me, I'm definitely your guy for sure. I think
Mr. Rogers.
I think Curtis Samuel and this Commander offense has big potential this coming up season. So we shall see. Again, I might have jumped the gun early because last year I thought this Commander's offense had a little something. We'll see. Dr. Miller, once again, we appreciate you. Tomorrow, we're going to finish our summer tour in the NFC East in Dallas, Texas, the supposed America's team. We'll check that out tomorrow, and we appreciate you coming by, my friend.
Tomorrow, but Commissioner.
Dr. Miller, once again, bringing the thunder. All right, let me see if I can do this in time. We're going to hit the Redskins theme, and I'm going to try to bring all my guests in at the same time. Here we go.
Hail to the Redskins. Hail victory. Braves on the warpath. Fight for old DC.
If you're not fired up, I don't know what's wrong with you. All right, let's welcome into our studio our guests today. We'll start here to my left, Tay from the Tay and Todd podcast. Welcome to the studio, sir. Think you're on mute, sir. I'm gonna unmute you.
I'm sorry. Look at that. I'm acting like an old man here. It's been an honor to be here. I appreciate you inviting me on, and looking forward to talking football with you all, especially Commanders. So thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Appreciate you being here. Chase Vernon from the Fantasy Football Intervention. Welcome to our studio, sir.
What's going on, guys? How we doing tonight? I am ready to rock and roll. Let's do this.
All right. We are ready indeed. Ethan, welcome, my brother. We appreciate you joining us here in the studio today.
Thank you for having me on. Yeah, I'm excited to talk some Commanders.
Absolutely. And we do have Steve Thomas on from the Hogsty. Steven, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Sorry I'm not on the video, but I didn't want to crack anybody's lens with my ugly face.
All good. Yeah, this is the first time we had someone in the studio who has a secret identity. Check that out. We're all excited for that. That's actually kind of cool. All right, so we're gonna kick things off tonight. Let's talk about something. When we're talking about the Commanders, obviously there's something there that is quite obvious when I say it. The Commanders, the name change. I was even getting cool with football team, to be quite frank with you. So I just want to get you guys' thoughts real quick on the name changes from the Redskins to all the way now the Commanders. Your thoughts on it, and where do you think maybe they should have went if you don't like it? And Tay, we'll start with you.
Originally, I liked the Red Wolves, some Wolves variation. I think all the young people did for the most part. But I like Commanders now. I was just so ready for the name change to be over with. I'm like, only thing I didn't like about the rebrand was the fact that we saw it before and kind of knew what it was before the actual reveal. But I like Commanders. I like what it entails. I like how Ron is just pushing it as a military kind of thing, and it seems like it's more continuity. I just like the whole rebrand. I like the jerseys for sure, and the name. I've already embraced the name. So
nice. All right, Ethan, what do you think?
Yeah, to echo Tay's thoughts, I'm just happy it's over. It was a long 2 years. Writing football team every time I had to refer to them was not the most fun. But yeah, I mean, I like it too. I think the jerseys look a lot better in person than they do when they originally came out, especially the helmets. Those matte burgundy helmets are crazy in person. Like everyone's gonna love them when they see them in week one. So for me, I like the name. I was on board with the Red Wolves at the beginning too. It's what a lot of people liked. Fred Smoot really liked that as well. But I'm cool with Commanders. Happy it's over and happy it's their permanent name and the direction they're going to head.
Indeed. All right, Chase, what are your thoughts?
I'm not going to take too much time on this because I have a lot of deep thoughts on this. But honestly, we had an opportunity to kind of resurrect the way the country's been going and the trend in the NFL by correcting everything and going with the Red Tails. And we could have stuck with the same color scheme and everything like that if we went with Red Tails. However, if we didn't go with Red Tails, we had an opportunity to rebrand ourselves completely. And for us not to take on the naval colors, such as like a dark gray, the naval blue, something on those lines. I don't think somebody's not on mute. But if we had an opportunity to go and rebrand ourselves completely, I would much rather go on that route, change our color scheme, change everything, and just take the franchise fresh. You know, I understand wanting to keep the burgundy gold. I understand, having some sort of tie to everything we're doing. But if we're going to do that, the Red Tails would have been the option because it was the right thing to do versus sticking with the colors that had nothing to do with the Commanders and going, that route. But I understand us wanting to do that, appeal to the military, appeal to everything we're doing. I just think we could have done a better job of rebranding ourselves completely if that was the case.
Steve, what do you think?
Well, I've been a lot more negative about it than some other people in Washington media and whatnot. I'm a I grew up a Redskin fan. It's pretty hard for me to accept that the name is gone because I have a lot of great memories with it. So I'm not a huge fan of it personally. I liked, as Chase said, I like the Red Tails. Lane, I think that's where they probably should have gone for the historical reasons. But Commanders, I'll pass. And as a longtime military guy, I've pointed out to many people that if you have an entire team full of commanders, nobody's really a commander. But it's a bit of an oxymoron. So I'm not personally too much of a fan, although I think a significant amount of our listeners and readers have come around. I'm probably one of the holdouts.
Well, indeed. All right, let's go on to something a little more brighter. Or maybe not brighter. Let's see what you have to say. Steve, we're going to start with you. We're going to go to the overall prediction for the Washington team this year. Blake, take a look at their schedule. Obviously, starting off with, it's not your daddy's Lions team, but you do have a couple of winnable games. And if you look at the overall schedule now, it looks pretty favorable for them, quite frankly. So let's go through the season. Give me a game you like, and then tell me your overall prediction for the Commanders.
Okay. Well, overall, I do think that the schedule's very favorable, especially compared to some of the schedule problems they've had in recent years. They've gotten a much better schedule this year. So generally speaking, I was fairly happy about how it turned out. I do like the fact that it's not loaded up with NFC East games there all at the end of the season. I think that's a really rough stretch to do that. In terms of games that I like, I mean, it's hard not to like the Detroit Lions game. If you're going to win a game, it's got to be against them and the Jaguars too. I mean, obviously there's a ton of talent there, but can they put it together? Who knows? So I think that this is a season in which they needed to jump on the first quarter of the season because you've got Packers, the Vikings, some good teams in here, the Titans. It's not all a bunch of cupcakes. And so I think this is a season in which they need to start strong, and they can start strong, with the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Detroit Lions.
Chase, give me a game you like throughout the season and give me your overall prediction for the Commanders.
I mean, so let me start out with this first. I have the Washington Commanders going 5-12 this season. I know that sounds rough, but honestly, we sacrificed so much depth on our defense and so much depth on our offensive line in order to fix the mistake of trading for Carson Wentz that it sacrificed a lot of upside that we could end up having. It's sure there are winnable games. We pretty much traded a quarterback who half of his career healthy in the NFL. And that's not, something that you want from the most important position on the field. Meanwhile, we ended up having to draft a wide receiver to make sure that wasn't a mistake. We had to end up spending draft capital on running back to make sure running backs were healthy, because we're going to have to hand the ball off more often than not throughout the season. Probably at least 48% of the touches will be runs. A lot of this is done is to protect the quarterback that we traded draft capital for. Unfortunately, with our schedule, sure, we have the Lions. It's going to be a tough win, but that might be the grittiest game of the season for us, which is kind of scary. I do think it's more of a compliment to the Lions than it is to a knock on Washington. But I mean, if the Giants end up coming in strong with Brian Dable, which I think, although they don't have a ton of talent on there, it's very possible with the offensive scheme that they run, it's actually to our weaknesses, which is up against quarterbacks who can move outside the pocket. That's a strong issue with us. They can end up taking both games like they have in multiple seasons in recent history. Meanwhile, we have the Eagles, which are significantly improved, and although the defense isn't their strength, they're still getting better on defense. Meanwhile, we have a quarterback who can get outside the pocket once again. Dallas is going to be a force to reckon with, unfortunately, this season. And then, outside that, we have a lot of teams that are very good. I think we had one win up against a winning team at the time last season, if I remember correctly. That's not promising moving forward. And although we might have had a stronger schedule last year, it's not that much easier this year. If you looked at how the teams have improved for their rosters in comparison to what they were last year, we face a lot of up and coming teams, which is going to be tough. I have us at 5-12. I know that doesn't sound pretty, but the likelihood that Carson Wentz makes it through the season is not likely. It's going to be a rough one for us.
Ethan, are you as down as Chase is?
I'm not as pessimistic. I think this team's in between 7 to 9 wins, and it all goes back to Carson Wentz. Are we going to get the good parts of 2021 last year where he threw for 27 touchdowns and just 7 picks? Or are we going to get the 2020 version where 16 picks, 15 touchdowns, and getting benched for rookie Jalen Hurts? I will say I think the offense has a lot more talent this year if they can stay healthy. I know it's June and I don't want to over-exaggerate, but Jahan Dotson has looked incredible at OTAs, constantly burning Kendall Fuller and getting open. He's already Wentz's favorite target, especially with Terry not there with his contract holdout. So I'm optimistic about the offense. The defense does worry me a little bit because they're counting on everyone who struggled last year to bounce back. They didn't really make any free agent additions at the position. They drafted Fedarian Mathis in the second, who's nothing more than just a guy who's going to take up snaps. And linebacker is still a huge hole with Jamin Davis, who's unproven, your first-round pick from last year. And then Cole Holcomb, who's a traditional outside guy, and he's playing the mic now. So there's a lot of questions on that side of this ball, and that goes without even mentioning Chase Young's ACL recovery. His surgery was actually a little bit different than most ACLs. They took part of the graft from his good leg, which is a little bit weird. So it could be a little bit of a delayed recovery there as well. So I'm more optimistic about the offense, less optimistic about the defense, which is weird to say for a Washington team. But yeah, if Wentz can play well and they can put points on the board, I think they can take advantage of the schedule and win 8, 9, maybe 10 games. But if it goes south, they could be looking in that top 10 draft pick range.
Indeed.
Yeah,
go ahead,
Chase.
Chase.
I have a question for Ethan. Do you know if they did like the prehab for the ACL for him, like they did with Saquon Barkley, or did they just go straight to the surgery?
I'm not sure. I don't know if so his patella tendon in his knee that he hurt, I believe, was also hurt, which is why they couldn't take it from the same knee to repair his ACL. So going in your good knee is never a good sign. I don't care how athletic or freak of nature you are. So I'm hoping he can come back to 110%, but we'll see.
I should have had the doc in live for that one. That would have been a good question for him. Tag, finish us out, man. What do you think? Give me a good game on the schedule, and what do you think prediction-wise?
I just don't see how you can get 5 wins from that. No offense, Chase.
No, none taken.
Look, Taylor Heineke last year had 7 wins, and that was against Herbert, Allen, Mahomes, Brady, Wilson, Carr. This year we have Lawrence, Goff, Fields, Mariota, Mills. That's 5 wins right there. I think the Commanders are better than. Personally, I have them at 12-5, and that's off the sense that The offense is looking good. And Ethan, I just read your article earlier, and we got a chance to go to OTAs last Tuesday. I think it is last Tuesday we got to go, and the offense is clicking. From what I could see, like Ethan said with Dotson, I don't think that was a reach pick. I think you need more weapons in the NFL. And to me personally, I would rather outscore teams than stop teams because that's the way the NFL is heading. And I just think this team is loaded on offense. They have depth at running back. They have depth at tight end. They have depth at receiver now, at quarterback, offensive line, defensively. If they can just kind of the quarterbacks I just named. I mean, you're facing Rodgers. You got Dak Prescott twice. You got, Jalen Hurts, who, I don't think he's a really good quarterback personally. He still has a lot to prove. Daniel Jones twice a year. So I think the schedule is very favorable for them, especially coming out the gate. And the game I guess I'm most interested in is the Indianapolis Colts game. And just the comeback story for Carson Wentz and just being able to get back. And it's 3 revenge games for him. But the baseline I have them as 10 wins this year. And that should be expected with what you gave up for Carson Wentz. But for what I've seen from him, I think he's going to be a good leader. I think that I have a sense. You look at Ron's teams later on in the year, how they went on winning streaks. Last year, I believe it was 4 or 5. And the year before that, they went on a winning streak to get into the playoffs. The schedule towards the end, you got Houston, you got the Falcons, you got the Giants twice. The schedule towards the end and in the beginning look very favorable. It's just a few games in between. I think if the Titans may be a tough one, the Packers may be a tough one, Dallas once, Philly once. Those are the only games really I'm seeing. Vikings, I think they have a good chance of having 10-plus wins this year personally.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. Schedule, very favorable. That's right now, of course, because there might be a team on there, too, that we weren't counting on being good. But looking at that overall schedule, gotta like it at least for 9-8, 10-7, possible wild card spot. I do like the Redskins, the Commanders. I just can't get rid of it. The Commanders to at least be in the wild card discussion towards the end of the year. Like you said, though, I do like the Eagles. We've talked about them in the division. Giants, not so much. We'll see on the Cowboys. I think they're kind of wait and see. So, again, that'd be my prediction for the Commanders. We're going to take a quick break. We come back. We're going to play some Fantasy Feud Commander Edition. We'll be right back.
Hayden, we love fantasy football. We do? It's a fantastic game, yet still not perfect. I hate leaving high-scoring players on my bench.
The worst, man.
In fact, hate it even more when I put injured players and they're in my starting lineup.
Can't have that.
And I need a life. The waivers, the trades, every single week, it grinds on me. So we at Underdog Fantasy want to make fantasy football easier for everyone out there. It's called Best Ball, and we set your optimal lineup for you each and every week. You can do it all year long. We have drafts going all the way from February to week 1 of the NFL season. What are you waiting for? Use our awesome early sign-up offer to get a little extra something on that first deposit and that first time you play on Underdog Fantasy.
You put them up, reach the skies, touch the stars up above, cause it's one time for the underdog, one time for the underdog.
All right, since we got 4 guys in the building tonight, we're going to team this up a bit. I'm going to have Chase and Steve on one side, Tay and Ethan on the other. Just regular Family Feud style, you guys. You're sure to see the game before. I'll have one of you come up, be the first one to answer. Whoever can snag it will be the one to kit it for their team, and they'll try to finish out the category per the usual. Yes, sir, Chase.
I have a question.
Yes,
How
sir.
pissed off was Hayden Winks to be in that commercial? Because
I say that every time.
He just sat there. He's like,
he looks so uncomfortable. Like, oh my God, what am I doing here right now?
He's like, what the hell? Why did you even bring me in here?
That's so funny. I don't even know that guy's name, but I say it every time. Like, yo, that guy definitely did not want to be there.
The best ball expert. And he didn't
thank you. I'm glad someone else noticed that. All right, hey guys, it's time to play the feud.
Oh, that was
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. It's going to be a long game.
All right, here we go. I'm going to have Steve and Tay. You're going to be my first two contestants up here. Here is the question. Top 5 answers on the board. Top passing yards for the Commanders all time.
Oh,
Are you supposed to raise your hand or something?
Supposed to answer.
I can't.
when
Of
you
course,
know
I can't
it.
raise my hand, but
You just answer when you know it. That was my bad.
Oh.
well, Kirk Cousins got to be on that list somewhere.
Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
Snagged it for your team. Chase, you get to go now, sir.
Oh man, we got to bring in. Let's see.
Kirk Cousins was number 4 on the list.
All right, I'm gonna go with Sonny Jurgensen.
Sonny Jurgensen.
Now are we
Number
just
2
answering?
on the list.
Am I up again or?
Yes, sir. It's up to
I'm
you,
gonna
Steve.
go with Joey Theismann.
Joey Broken Leg Theismann. I actually hit the wrong one on that one. That is correct. He is actually number 1 on the list.
I was about to protest.
That was my fat. That's called fat finger. My bad. All right, go right ahead, Chase. You guys got Joe Theismann, Sonny Jurgensen, and Kirk Cousins.
How many are on there?
You got 5. So you got 2 more left.
I think Slinging Sammy Ball is on there at like 3.
Sammy Ball is at 3.
Okay, we got one more on here, right?
Last on the list, sir. Go ahead.
All right. And we're at no strikes. So do we get 3 strikes at this?
Correct. You got it.
Okay. Let's see here. We've hit a bunch of them. See, the last one's pretty tough. I'm going to go Jason Campbell.
Jason Campbell.
No, it's got to be Mark. It's got to be. He started the year I was born, and I remember my parents were like, that was the reason why I became a fan. So it's got to be Mark.
Who is it?
Mark Ripien.
Yeah, I was gonna make you say it. Got it. You guys cleared the round. Good job there. There's your top 5 right there. So I don't even need to name them off. Great job indeed. All right, let's go on to question number 2. I'll have Ethan and Chase play this one to start. Here we go. Top 5 answers on the board. Top in rushing TDs all time.
John Riggins, number 1.
John Riggins.
Let's go.
I think Ethan's on a delay. I think, unfortunately. All right, Steve, you're up. Your team is up, so you're up. You got John Riggins.
Okay, another tough one after Riggins. Let's go with let's see. Davis. Stephen Davis.
Stephen Davis.
All right, the next one I'm going to do, I compare him to Kenneth Walker all the time. I think that he is literally the second coming, or Kenneth Walker is the second coming of Clinton Portis.
Clinton, all about the U Portis.
Okay.
He's number 2. You guys got 1, 2, and 3. So you got 4 and 5 left.
How about Terry Allen?
Terry Allen. Scary Terry Allen. These guys are on fire tonight. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 is left.
I remember Alfred Morris made a run, but I don't know if he ever got there. I think he needed 1 more year to get there, and the regime didn't want to re-sign him because he didn't fit the system. So it's either Larry Brown or Alfred Morris. I'm going to go with Larry Brown because I think Alfred Morris needed like 1 more season in order to do it.
Larry Brown. swept around. Good job there indeed. All right, we're going to round 3. Now, this time, I'm going to throw you off a little bit. We're going to go from tripadvisor.com. Best, my bad, it's Tay and Steve. You guys are in for this one. TripAdvisor.com, best places to visit in DC, top 5.
Oh, God.
Ben's Chili Bowl.
What was that you said?
Ben's Chili Bowl.
City Bowl, what?
Ben's Chili Bowl.
Oh, Ben's Chili Bowl. That's why I was like, what? Yeah, not on the list, bro.
It's time.
So this is best places to visit in DC?
Yes, sir.
The Washington Monument.
The Washington Monument, crazy enough, is not on this list either. Ethan, that means it goes to you, sir. What do you got?
Man, the National Mall, is that one?
The National Mall. Really threw one out there tonight. Chase, what you got, man?
I don't freaking know. The Capitol?
U.S. Capitol. Can you believe it?
Yes.
That's actually number 3 on this list, believe it or not. All right, Steve, what you got for this round?
The Smithsonian.
The Smithsonian, if I can pronounce it. Not number 1 and 3 on here.
Wait, so are we taking this one now, or is it just going?
Yeah, you guys are up now. You took it over once you got it right.
All right, I'm gonna go with Ben's Chili Bowl. No, I'm just I'm messing with you.
I was looking down against you like Ben's Chili Bowl.
It should be on there. It should be on there.
I haven't heard of that. I gotta go check it out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna write this down. That's definitely something I want to visit if I go to Washington.
Dude, I think I just woke all my neighbors up in the neighborhood. I forgot my window was open. No, that's. I need to go check it out. I haven't heard of that. I'm from Virginia Beach, so I'm just south of there.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with God. I don't know what's up in DC. The Lincoln Memorial.
The Lincoln Memorial. Coming strong now. Only 2 answers remaining. The number 2 and number 5. Steve, you're up.
Okay. How about the Jefferson Memorial?
The Jefferson Memorial. All right, one strike remaining, Chase.
Well, hopefully you don't give me a strike on this. I'm afraid to say it. It's where my grandfather's staying right now, but the Arlington Cemetery.
I mean, listen, I was a former United States Marine. I mean, I feel you. This is nothing against them. Sorry, bro.
Oh, hell no!
So Tay and Ethan, there's number 2 and number 5 on this list. This is your big chance to get back in this. Any guesses?
I got one. What about the Kennedy Center?
The Kennedy Center, man, I was hoping it for you, bro. So actually, number 2 on this list was the National Museum of African Monument, History, and Culture. And number 5 was the National Gallery of Arts. Those were your top 5 places to go in DC. All right, well, pretty much it's a wrap on who wins this or loses. But we go ahead. We got a couple other questions. Go ahead and just finish out playing. Guys, we'll go up with Chase and Ethan on this one. Interception leaders all time for the Commanders. Top 5.
Joe Green.
Darrell Green, of course. Gotta go, right? All right, Steve, what you got?
Okay. Interceptions. Let's see. Oh, tough one. How about I was about to say Sean Taylor, but he wasn't around long enough. I'm struggling with this one. Let me go with Sean Taylor.
Sean Taylor. Rest in peace, bro. All right, Chase, what you got?
So I want to say Sammy Baugh again because Sammy Baugh played both positions, but I don't know if he'd qualify. I don't know if they took stats for that. Somebody's on a mute again. Sorry, guys. Can who's ever not talking mute, please? Thank you. I don't know if he qualifies for the interceptions at that point in time, but I'm still going to say Sammy Baugh because I think he played defense as well during that time.
Sammy Baugh. He is number 3 on this list. Number 3 in passing yards. Pretty impressive, to say the least. All right, Steve, what you got? You got only one strike.
Okay, we got to go with someone who's around the team a really long time. So let's go with Monty Coleman.
Monty Coleman.
I'm responsible for 2 X's now. That's no good.
Chase?
I know D'Angelo Hall probably wasn't around for long enough. I think he played for us for 2008 to like 2016 or something like that. I know that he had a lot, but that's the only other one that comes to mind. We have like Joe Briggs, but I mean, that was super early and out of my time period. What's his name that begins with an L was also a possibility, but I don't know if he's in there. I'm gonna say D'Angelo Hall just because of the massive amount of interceptions he had up against Dallas, and just say let's go.
D'Angelo Hall. All right, Tay.
I think I gave one of them the answers.
Tay and Ethan, here is your chance. You guys got a lot of openings here. Number 2, number 3, and number 2, number 4, and number 5 on this list. They are back in the day.
Are they really? Yeah, we haven't had a defensive back with hands outside of D'Angelo Hall in years. Like, I mean, we had Carlos Rogers who couldn't catch a ball. We had Fred Smoot who couldn't catch a ball. We had all these players who couldn't catch a freaking interception if it was thrown right to them. It was crazy.
Tay and Ethan, got a guess?
Tay, if you got one, go ahead.
Man. Oh, I don't even know. Man. Ken Houston?
Yeah, I mean, you just might as well throw a name out there. You got
how close was I on my guess?
Well, Brig Owens, I think that was the guy you were trying to say before.
I said Briggs. Yeah.
He's number 2 on this list. Mike Bass is number 3, and Joe Lavender, number 29. As good as he smells, indeed. All right, one last category, guys. We're going to go with Tay and Steve. This is our last one, and we're going to finish this up. Give me the top 5 receiving yards of all time. Art Mug. Look at Tay. He's ready this time.
My turn.
All right, Tay, you stole it for your round. So finally, no, Steve, not your turn this time. They finally got it on the other side. All right, Ethan, it's your turn. What you got?
Gary Clark.
Gary Clark. He's number 3 on this list. Art Monk, number 1. You got 2, 4, and 5 available.
I'm going Santana.
Santana Mouse. Number 4 on the list. You got 2 and 5 remaining.
I'm drawing a blank here. I know there's a big one, and I'm just completely forgetting.
I don't think there is.
I want to say Pierre, but I know he wasn't here long enough. I'll just go with Pierre Garcon. I don't think it is him, but I'm drawing a blank.
Garcon. All right, guys. We got one remaining. You got number 2 and number 5 there.
I know I'm not gonna get it, but I can only think of his name. Ricky Sanders.
I mean, good guess, Ricky Sanders.
I have never heard someone say so many wrong things, one after the other, consecutively in a row.
All right, Chase and Steve, you have a chance to steal it here.
Charlie Taylor.
Yeah, he was our longest tenured receiver. I think he played 14 years for us at wide receiver. He wasn't efficient from year to year, but
all right, Chase, you don't need to spike the football. You got it, all right? Chase and Steve, you guys were impressive tonight. You guys swept our fantasy feud round. Great job.
Bobby Mitchell's right there too. I know that.
Really knowing your Commander history. That's for sure. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. Finally, I have someone from my show here with me. We're going to come in. We're going to bring everybody in. We're going to talk about fantasy outlook for the Commanders this season. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hey, everyone. It's Commissioner Cooper from TSS Fantasy. Want to give your own fantasy league that extra professional touch? Say less. We got you. TSS was based off a show that we did on our own fantasy league. Night, sorry, and now possible play hole. You're on your way. Now we want to bring that professional, fun, and creative side to your fantasy league. And you can do it for as low as $5 extra per owner.
Oh my.
I will guarantee it will increase your interactions within the league, create more fun, friendly banter, and give your league that extra real-life feel that you didn't know it needed. We look forward to interacting with you and your league soon. Don't forget TSSFantasy.com. Go visit it today. Get signed up. We are the fantasy show of the people. Welcome in the Jester. Thank you for joining the studio, sir.
Yeah, I'm back, baby. Let's go. Watching the Rangers. Let's go.
All right, bringing a little bit of the juice before we end tonight. All right, Fred, I'm glad you're in because we're here to talk fantasy. Let's talk about some rankings.
I'm ready.
All right, so we're in Washington, D.C. We got all of our great guests in. We appreciate you guys being here. We are going to talk fantasy now, prospects, if you will, for individual Commander players. Let's go right to Carson Wentz. I'll let you guys know I have him at 15. I've talked about him earlier this season as a possible sleeper because we've talked about, I know you guys have talked about it a little bit. The offensive line hasn't taken that big of a dive. You had the addition of Jahan Dotson, which, by the way, I didn't even know he looked great in camp. So that actually makes my prediction even cooler. You already have Terry Scary, who will be back. I mean, it's contract, we know, but he'll be on the field. Let's just count him as in. You're going to have, again, an open space, hopefully now for Antonio Gibson. I like the offense in general, and I like Carson Wentz prospects this season. Fred, where do you got him? What do you think he should be?
I kind of agree with you right there, around 15 to 18. He's not going to be a starter on anybody's football team. Most leagues are only 12 deep, but he'll be a good backup for that bye week. Hopefully they play a weaker opponent, with a bad defense. But, we see what Carson Wentz really is. He's nothing special. Now that I'm talking about it, maybe he goes right around 18. So he'll be somewhere around the 8th, 9th, 10th round.
So you can see Fred does his analysis as he's talking about it. So you see that's how much study he put in. Chase, what do you think, my friend? Where do you have Carson at? And where do you think? Well, I guess we kind of already know, but give us your where do you think he's ranked at right now?
Are we talking single or 2 quarterback leagues?
We're just talking about single, yeah.
Okay, if it's single, then I'll rank him a little bit higher. Right now, I have him at quarterback 24 in 2 quarterback leagues. If he was single quarterback leagues, I'd probably rank around 18 or 19 or 20 overall, which would put him pretty much undrafted. Like if you a upside for a quarterback, like every quarterback leagues, you want to draft for upside. And although Carson Wentz has, decent upside, his floor is non-existent, which is why you don't want him for 2 quarterback leagues. You want your second quarterback to be, somewhat consistent, whatnot. Honestly, there's not a lot to be done here. Both Curtis Samuel and Antonio Gibson were out of practice today. They said it's precautionary for whatever reasons, but we all know what's happening. They're both tight. They're both dealing with injuries because, let's face it, they are going to deal with this for the rest of their careers. His weapon, Jahan Dotson, is a rookie wide receiver who will face double coverage whenever he goes deep. Terry McLaurin, whatever, great receiver, but you can only offer so much upside value with his size and speed. And then Logan Thomas, we don't know what's going to happen with his health. So you're talking about a very limited quarterback who is being safeguarded by the team drafting and telling people they want to run the ball. Sure, there might be some upside there, but he should not be drafted in redraft leagues whatsoever. He should be left on your waivers.
Chase doing the proverbial poop on Carson Wentz's season this year. Ethan, what do you think of our prognostication? Where do you think, I'm not sure how much fantasy you play, but where do you think, you would draft Carson at?
Yeah, I play. I wouldn't draft him either. I think he's one of those guys that maybe if your QB's on a bye, you can stream him, and if it's a good matchup, he could put up 20 plus points maybe. But I mean, when was the last time Carson Wentz was fantasy relevant? 2017, 2018. He's always been one of those like tier 3, tier 4 fantasy quarterbacks where even on his best games, he might look great like in the actual football game, but statistically, fantasy wise, he's not putting up the numbers that even your borderline like QB 12, QB 13, 14, like borderline starters are. So maybe like in that 3-week stretch from weeks 11, 12, and 13 when they play the Falcons, Texans, and Giants, if your guy's on a bye, maybe that's when you pick up Wentz and hope for the best. But if you're drafting him in a redraft league, you're wasting a pick.
So I just want to point something out that we all agreed on when we first had our discussion was Washington's schedule, right? We all sat here and said, look at all these cupcakes they have. So when we're talking fantasy, you guys are all saying the same thing. Oh, if it's a good matchup, well, guess what, guys? They got a lot of good matchups and a lot of good matchups down the stretch and even to start. So again, very possible if Carson Wentz stays healthy, he's got good prognostication for this year. Tay, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jester here, but I'm gonna go 15 with possibility of 13 to 15 range, and that's based on the simple fact that these are the most weapons he's had almost ever in his career. Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, De'Ami Brown, Cole Turner. We'll see what they do at tight end, but the running backs. He even specifically said in his presser this past week, what we do with the running game is totally different. He said we throw the ball to the running backs. So they're going to be doing a lot of passing to Antonio Gibson. So I don't think their game plan is to run the football at all. I think their game plan is to pass to set up the run, if you would. And that's where I think the Colts failed with him. They tried to make him a quarterback that is just to be safe with the football. That's not his game. I think he's going to throw the ball a lot more with Curtis Samuel. What they were doing with him in OTAs, they had this man at fullback. They have him doing a triple option. I've never seen anything. Scott Turner is in his bag. He had 27-7 last year with a subpar receivers. I just think I give him 15. I wouldn't draft him, but I think he has big time potential in this offense with Scott Turner. They've been looking for a quarterback that can get ready to throw the ball deep with that Eric Coyo offense, and I think the upside is definitely there. But with Carson, I want to see it first before I can give him anything higher than 15 personally. But I think the upside is definitely there.
Of course. Hey, listen, you heard it here first, too. Fantasy predictions. Tay saying Curtis Samuel might be our Cordell Patterson of this football season.
Sure.
Watch on out for sure. All right, let's go on to the running back position. Let's talk about Antonio Gibson real quick. I got him listed as 10. I described all basically the accolades earlier. The offense is a little better with the weapons. We talked about Carson Wentz having a little bit more to spread around. You just mentioned about him getting the ball a little more out of the backfield. I got him at 10, especially that's standard or PPR. Like Antonio Gibson, long as he can stay healthy, that of course is the big question mark. Fred, where do you have him at? And where do you think?
13. I do have him at 13. I think he's going to have to play a big role. I think you need to run the ball when Carson Wentz is the quarterback. I know they have McLaurin, but Washington needs to run the ball. And why not? You facing the Giants twice. You're facing the Eagles. They got a tough defense, and Dallas is shaky at times. So I definitely got him 12. I wouldn't mind picking him in the second round if he's sitting out there. I love drafting my running backs in the first 2 rounds. So if he's there, I'm going to take him.
Chase, are you still pooping on the running backs of the Commanders?
I mean, no, it's going to be a running back up by committee. They've told us that's what they want to do. They brought back McKissick. They stole him from the Bills. Meanwhile, they have Jarrett Patterson, yet they drafted Brian Robinson. They haven't offered an extension to Gibson or even made a motion to do so. So they have no commitment to him. However, that's a good thing for fantasy. They can running him into the ground. I have him right around high-end RB2 range, but you can't expect the passing work that he got at the end of the season to suffice for the regular season. Like I said, he's already dealing with injuries, and it's not even, training camp yet.
Yeah, indeed. Well, that's why I brought the doc in. It was like, what's your percent? But he's pretty high on him this year, but he was high on a couple of guys last year that hit the bench real quick, so who knows? All right, let's go to receiver 16. I got Terry Scary McLaurin. And I have Jahan Dotson 59 right now. Obviously, I'm ready to push him up, but we got to see what he does on the field. That's what I don't even have Curtis Samuel ranked right now. Again, we talked about big time injury for him last year. He never got off the ground with, so don't really have him ranked. Fred, what do you think?
I think top 15. I like what he said about Curtis Samuel, but like you just said, we don't know where he's at. I think they're going to have to throw the ball. Obviously, Dak Prescott's there. Jalen Hurts is playing for his career, for his job. I don't care what nobody says. Yes, they gave him the leeway last year. This year, he's going to throw the ball. So I think McLaurin's going to have a lot of chances to catch the ball downfield. And hopefully it's like what he says. Let Wentz throw it. What do you have to lose? I mean, hey, throw the ball.
Steve, I didn't forget about you back there. What do you think of McLaurin's and Dotson's, their projections this season? How do you think that they'll fare?
Well, remember that Terry McLaurin's in a contract year, and he's in a contract dispute with the team. And so I actually think he could potentially have a really big year. By the way, I didn't ever give my prediction at the beginning of the show. I said 8-9 for whatever that's worth. That was my prediction. But I think Terry McLaurin's a guy I would definitely pick. He's got a ton of talent. He's an amazing receiver. His ability to run routes is unmatched. He's got great hands. So he's somebody I wouldn't be afraid of at all. And what was the other? You want Samuel? No, Dotson. Dotson, I mean, yeah, he's looked good in a couple OTAs, but I have a hard time picking any wide receiver as a rookie to do much in terms of fantasy stats and whatnot. That's tough. So I probably would pass on him.
All right, we'll close it out with Logan Thomas. He's been a lot of potential. I keep hearing. Want to see it, of course. So I got him at 14th. Wanting to see that potential. May end up seeing it with Carson, though, wanting to hit the tight end. Fred, what say you?
I think he'll be better than 14. I think top 10 this year. I thought last year we thought very highly of him. And they started off good, but I definitely think he's actually 9 or 10 this year. Wentz did throw the ball to Mo Alley Cox a lot last year, and to I forgot the other guy's name, but I think Logan Thomas is the primary tight end. He's not going to be off the field much, so I think he gets a lot of catches this year.
Tay, what do you think?
I don't have him maybe top 20. He's not going to be ready to play till I don't even know when. Coming off that ACL injury. So I think Cole Turner and John Bates will be guys to look at in that tight end position for I just don't think that Logan Thomas is going to be back to have that rapport with top 10 rapport with Carson Wentz. So I'll give him 20s.
Carson likes to scramble out and find the big target. I think that was really the more thinking behind that. But yeah, I do feel what you're saying for sure. As far as getting the chemistry down, I would talk about the defense, but quite frankly, we spent a good amount of our offseason talking about this Redskin defense last year, and I hyped them up, and they really made me look silly. So I'm skipping them this year. I don't even want to talk about them. All right, we're gonna close out tonight. Listen, I really appreciate you guys being in. Hanging out with us, and we're celebrating everything Washington. Do me a favor, we're going to go around the room, let our fans and everyone watching know where they can find you and all your great stuff. Tay, we'll start with you, sir.
Tay and Todd podcast, my co-host Pascal Todd, and you can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Apple, where anything you could listen to podcast on. We do a couple film breakdowns and try to have content for you all. So Tay and Todd, Washington Commanders podcast.
Awesome. Yeah, make sure you go check him out. How about you, sir? Ethan, where can we find your stuff?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and all social media at Ethan_Cadeaux, CADEAUX, and then on NBCSportsWashington.com. Got a bunch of good written stuff from OTAs, training camp. We'll have all that. So that's the place you want to be.
Nice, indeed. So we're going to come to you when we get any injuries and all that good stuff. So we'll know where to find you for sure. Chase, how about where we can find your stuff, sir?
Real quick, I do want to point out, just for everybody that's playing fantasy, that Carson Wentz has never had a wide receiver lead the team in receiving outside of this past year. It's typically been the running backs, the tight ends, or both. Alshon Jeffrey became the closest, I think, in 2017, ? But yeah, it's never been close. Drafting wide receiver is going to be a huge detriment. But you guys can find all my content over there at FF_intervention. You guys can also find us over there at Trophy Smack. We're doing tons of stuff. We have 10 Scott Fishbowl spots to give away if you guys want to get in the Scott Fishbowl. If you guys think you're one of the best fantasy players, it doesn't matter if you're an expert, doesn't matter if you're an amateur. Go over there to Trophy Smack on Twitter. Give us a follow and check out the post we just did. It's going to be all of our social media accounts. We have 10 spots to give away. We're very excited how we're going to do these. We're going to do them in very creative ways. That gives everybody a chance, not just like, trivia or, yada, yada. Like, we're going to give everybody a chance to gift whatever they have to give to the fantasy community in order to get a spot in the Scott Fishbowl. And if you don't know about Scott Fishbowl, just search what is the Scott Fishbowl, and the Trophy Smack article is the second one to come up. It's put on by Nate Polvolt. So go check it out.
All right, go check all that great stuff out. Steve, where can we find your great stuff, sir?
We're at thehogstie.com. We have a website. We have lots of great written and audio content. The show is called The Hogstie Podcast. We also do It's Just Business, which is our sports law and business show. And we've got Rick Snyder's Seasons of Discontent. Rick Snyder's a longtime DC beat writer. So check all that out. We're on Twitter at The Hogstie.
All right. Make sure, everyone, you go check out all these great guests. What a great show it was tonight. The Commanders, Washington, D.C. Even the Jester came in at the end. I mean, come on. We can't appreciate that. Again, guys, we appreciate you guys being here. It was a pleasure being in your city, and we are out.
We're on a mission.
Right. That's because you have
We're on a mission.